little bit of pressure on the extrication from the back. Salem circles around. Not too much on offer for her out on the left. Back to Crawford. Now Day. And that's a great run down the right side from Alicia Foot. And she pull it back. She crosses it first time and it's cleared away. Out of play, but a great bit of play down the right side by the Newcastle Jets. And the ball is out of play, so there's going to be a throw-in and the Jets are going to maintain that attack.
Great ball by Stacey Day in behind the Melbourne Victory defence, and pretty much Alicia Foot knows she can get there, but she really didn't have many options to cut the ball back.
Great to see Stacey Day back in the starting lineup for the Jets, though. She started last week too, and you can just see how comfortable herself and Hayley Crawford are playing together at the back.
She's very experienced, Stacey Day, and was almost called into action during the midweek fire up in Newcastle. And a high ball to the far post. Davey tested and has to get the fingers on it and punch it further on. She was on standby, part of the Curry Fire Brigade, but she was occupying, I think, the station who were called into duty. She went to fill in for them and was ready for the next wave of defence, if you like.
She's a hero of mine. Her and Alison Logue, both fireys in the Newcastle region, and just do an amazing job.
You're on, Steph, all the time.
You can really hear Mike Mulvey trying to give that instruction to players, really push on. He's trying to really invigorate them and try to motivate them to get more attacking and get the ball forward, especially through Steph Catley, as we see here.
Now Catley off the pass from Jackson, who was powerful, and looking for a teaser far post. Barilla's late. She gets taken out of the play, ferociously so by Gemma Pearce, who gives a no quarter. But they're going to have a throw-in. Or is it a corner? Throw-in. So, Jean Goja. Now, can she measure across to the far post? Who's there? Catley sprays it over, but easily the best move from the Victory so far, with a fine ball from the right side and the volley launched.
Yeah, Gulchin Kocher has definite ability on the ball and a great deliverer of the ball. And it's sad to see Steph Catley not using her head there. I thought it might be one of those ones where you might do a diving header or something.
Perhaps you watched the A-League match last night.
Yes.
A far post volley from the Melbourne Heart to get them back in the game.
A couple of great volleys in that game.
They were indeed. Now, the Victory. A neat play from Jackson with the support. McDonald surrounded, but they're going to get the throw-in back again.
You want more of that from Amy Jackson. Turn, play forward, keep possession, but make sure it's going forward so we can actually get something from it.
Brewer looks wide. Is that onside? Well, that almost looked offside, but Foot is going to have a chance, and it takes a little bit of a deflection. She seemed to be lurking in position, Alicia Foot.
That's going to be an area open all the time, especially from a diagonal pass like that, from left side to right side. Unless they're covering through the midfield, that's going to be open more often than not because of the three at the back.
Well, now Samara Schmitzer taken on by Catley, and Catley, the ball goes across and there's no one there. It didn't fall comfortably for Cindy Lay, and now this game really opening out. Tori Huster streams forward, beautifully laid off to Hatzirotis. She's got to have a shot, and she really just pokes it with the left foot instead of getting any real power behind the blow.
Yeah, it's good to see Hatzirotis trying with her left foot, but just not enough power to beat Davey.
Now they stream down again, and this time a nice interception from Sam Schmitzer, another newcomer, called into the side, went to a couple of trials this year, grew up on a farm on Oxley Island up near Taree. Samara Schmitzer, 24 years of age, part of the Jets defence, and she comes in again and heads the ball out of the way, the number 14. She took a mum up skydiving for a 40th birthday, Samara Schmitzer, and scared the daylights out of her. Anne-Marie will never forget that day at Port Macquarie. And she intervenes again. So Schmitzer getting heavily involved, not having played with one of these Newcastle players before this afternoon, or before this season. She's got a bit of game time so far, of course, in the 2 matches previous to this, but coming totally into a foreign environment after playing football up in Taree. Now, ball across from Koja again, not quite the right weight on it. Hooked downfield by Brewer. And the interception from Hatzorodis.
Push. This way. Doesn't go through.
Oh, heavy body contact. Gemma Pearce, again, very robust defender.
2 tough competitors there, Enza Barilla and Gemma Pearce. Also, Hannah Brewer is, you know, one of those key players that, you know, a ball winner in the midfield, and she's just dangerous when it comes to tackles.
Liadis drifting forward and back through that channel, retrieving the ball and then trying to get up into a goal-scoring position as well. Neatly intercepted. Stott. And that's wonderful play by Stott, unleashing Catley. McDonald's in the centre. Out the ball ricochets and goes out of play. Off again, Schmitzer. So she's covering the ground. Certainly some openings developing at the back.
It's exactly what you want your central defender to be doing, breaking lines and getting balls in behind the defence onto Catley.
It's going to be a goal kick. So no score. 14 minutes to go before half-time in this match in Geelong. Wonderful conditions for football today. And Angela Salem, formerly the Sky Blue, the Atlanta Beat, the New York Flash. She scored a penalty to win the WPSL Elite Championship. The 25-year-old has also played in Finland. So a well-travelled, very experienced campaigner. Be looking for some of her guile, more of her guile in the middle of the park as the victory. And Huster again with that nice first touch, and she puts Hatzorodis away. So the 2 tall towers come up against each other. Now can Hatzorodis lay it back? Huster, neat turn, weaving in and out. The elegant player to another one from the US, the 3-pronged US attack. Now Huster, what's the left foot like? Well, not as good as the right, but she wins a corner.
Yeah, I think she's done well there. Pretty much got a corner out of nothing.
Former under-23 international with the US team, born in Cincinnati, Ohio, 23 years of age. Now, can she find the head? Another corner. McDonald heads down. Salem punches it neatly out to Crawford on the right. And Crawford tangled up with Stott, who does well. And again, another crisp ball out. So Rebecca Stott really enjoying a good afternoon, working that left side in both attack and defence. Catley. Micah Reuter-Hiley.
Come on, Mickey.
We see plenty of commentary coming from the edge of the field. Newcastle looking for some control and some possession. It appears to Brewer. Effervescent force. Onside is Simon, but it's going to beat her. Well, she's not.
Get on the ball.
Little rueful shake of the head from Gemma Simon. Scored a great goal down in the national capital, former Hunter Sports High student. She's played 41 matches in the W League. This her 42nd. So once you're getting above 40, you're a very solid campaigner. This is the 5th year of the W League. As we watch now, Koja not quite able to release the pass away to Barilla. But, who's in the centre? McDonald, she's been fairly quiet so far. A couple of challenges. Can the Victory find her in space to see what her strike powers are like? Eliadis, and now almost falling to McDonald. Jackson, it spears off the foot. Will Catley try another volley? And now it's foot, and the ball past Jackson. Oh dear, it was poked clear. Not too confidently. Anyone could have been coming down that middle channel. But they got away with it, the Jets, somehow. Danielle Johnson surveying the scene as Gemma Pearce calls for the ball quickly. And again, stagnating a moment. Day thunders one down, looking for Hatzirodos. Reuter Hurley manages to do enough to protect it for a moment, and Catley came in to sew up the damage.
Yeah, it's great to see Catley coming back and covering there. If you play 3 in the back line, you really need your midfielders to be covering and giving you 4 at the back.
Well, you'd expect the introduction at some point during the match of Tara Andrews, a prolific striker. She holds the record for the most number of goals scored in a game in the W League 4. She suffered a bout of glandular fever. That's why the coach is giving her a little bit of a breather coming back into the fray again. Just sort of saving up, I guess, the game time. But you could see her doing a little bit of damage maybe at a point in this game.
Yeah, the doctors have probably only cleared her a certain amount of time per game. She was at the height of a sort of call-up for the Matildas and got struck down by glandular fever. So it's not a nice thing to happen, especially at that time. But now she's getting back into it, and you can see by Sully there giving her instruction, she may not be far off coming into play.
Oh, ball lost. Salem couldn't find the pass to Huster, and that could have been decisive. And another good piece of defending too, coming in from Becky. Rebecca Stott doing the business. She regards Hope Solo as one of her heroes in footballing terms. Well, she did a little bit of goalkeeping there herself with her feet to protect the area. Now, what have the Victory got to offer on transition? Johnson to Koja, and then looking for another measured pass to the far post. McDonald heads, the save is made. She might get another crack, and it's cleared finally out of the way by Crawford. It took a deflection, but it's going to be a goal kick. Well, an incredible sequence of events in the area.
Yeah, it's a great save by Eliza Campbell there. She didn't get enough onto it to push past, but her defenders are there doing the job and getting rid of it.
Yeah, McDonald down. What a save it was too.
Great save. Very lucky not to have the ball go in the back of the net, but anything can happen on the football pitch, and you just make that first save and you never know.
Sensational performance. Now Lay back to Eliadis. Nice skills from Jackson, but Salem, who robbed her of possession. Well, Simon won't be happy with that delivery. Eliadis, she's a useful force in the middle of the park too, and can't quite slide it through. Enza Barilla sweating. She's got to get moving again though. The ball might come again down that right channel.
This is much better from the Melbourne Victory. They are just not, conceding possession anymore. They're a little bit more composed on the ball, and it's a much better game to watch because of it.
Koja electing to go the alternate route. Way back.
Just as I say, they're tidying it up, they lose possession.
Way back it was. A little bit scrappy at the moment. But to Hayley Crawford. Good vision to Simon. And off the outside of the boot, Hatzirotis has got to really pour through on that ball. It was bouncing. Has to put a little bit more pressure on. And now a half chance. Is he onside? McDonald, keeper off the line. McDonald with a chance, and the tackle is made brilliantly. What an effort by Day. Keeper comes out and saves the day again, diving on the ball wonderfully well, Eliza Campbell. And here was the moment. Oh, the tackle. Gee, it's hard not to give away a penalty when you're tackling from that range, but well done to Jessica McDonald for staying on her feet too.
And also Stacey Day, well-timed tackle there. Jessica McDonald, welcome to the W League. You just can't give those opportunities up. They come few and far between.
Hurley, the coaching continues from the edge of the field. Stott attempts to start them up. The Victory down the left side. Catley, a well-timed run too. She gets on the outside of Schmitzer. In the centre is McDonald. Stacey Day, an imposing force in the centre of defence. Yet again, 2 saves in the space of a couple of moments. Born in Harrow, in England. She's had a couple of stints with the Jets. Ball into the centre. It's spilled. Shot over. Barilla somehow misses the chance of potting an open goal.
Great opportunity here for Melbourne Victory. Campbell spills the ball and just unfortunate for young Barilla. Skies it over the bar. She thought it was in. Not happy.
Simon. Now half-time, just 4 minutes away. Still no score. Certainly the best opportunities then falling to the Victory. Huster to Salem. A wonderful skill on the ball and feeds it through brilliantly to Huster. On goal off the outside of the boot, but she's offside. Well, I'm not so sure about that either.
Yeah, I'd like to see the replay again. Unfortunately for Huster, the linesman has put her flag up. It's hard to see from this angle. It's a great run in behind. And those things are definitely dangerous. Very much onside. I think that was the second time that's happened to Huster, and unfortunately onside in my book.
McDonald pressured from behind. Jackson. Oh, Simon does very, very well. To Brewer. Hatzirotis was definitely onside, but the ball wasn't going to find its way past Reuter Hurley. Stott picks up Catley, chasing Alicia Foote. Now Stott, Catley again with the run. Spitzer tries to chase her down, and she does well. Catley does equally well, lays it back to Lay. McDonald, Barilla, leaves it to Eliadis. A little bit of a toe poke forward, trying to pick up McDonald. And safely out of play. So really Samara Schmitzer not doing a bad job on the right side. She's been given a harrowing time by a recent Matilda. And she's evening it out at times too, with some good aggressive defence.
Yeah, she's just staying on her feet long enough to cause havoc for Steph Catley. She's not diving, and that's what you want from your defenders out wide.
Be fair to say she'd probably have the hardest task today too. Catley always hugging that edge of the field. As Koja is going to get a second bite. Gemma Simon intervenes. So just a minute and a half, maybe a little bit extra to go before the half-time break here in Geelong. No score between Melbourne and Newcastle. McDonald off the outside of the boots and away.
right idea there by McDonald. She's just trying to turn her defender and get an early ball into the box to Catley, who was waiting on the far post, but not to be.
So we're inside the last minutes of the first half. The Jets, perhaps with one last attack. Simon with some room. That's a Rodos. The ball doesn't fall to a Reuter Hooley, very cool. But Schmetzer chests it down, but can't quite control it. Catley pinches it. Laid off by Cindy Lay once again. Now streaming to get the return. Crawford comes in to close that gap left by her advancing defender. Back now, Lay. Oh, neat little turn. Stacey Day. Oh, a great presence in the area. It was really the tall of the short end of it there. As it's pumped downfield. Reuter Hooley, a glancing blow off the head. Eliadis. Jackson. Is there going to be one last chance? Well, there's going to be a free kick. Time is up. Barely not time enough to take the free kick. No time added on. Amy Jackson, who's been a demonstrative force in the middle of the park.
Yeah, critical time for, as a coach, you want your team to be switched on for the first 5 and the last 5 of the half. So if Melbourne Victory can sneak a goal here.
Seems to have a player down injured.
Schmitzer.
She's popped a knock in the back. Very uncomfortable.
She may have just jarred her back there when she's made the tackle. Sometimes it can hyperextend your lumbar spine there and give yourself a little tweak, and those are quite painful.
So, amusing Mike Mulvey. And, she's in a good deal of pain. She's just got a few seconds to last before the break, but she's not sure whether it's a game-ending injury. We certainly hope not. So can't really stretch it out, but half-time. Certainly got to stay on the park, really, doesn't she? Just sort of be a tree stump, if you like, and not do anything. Because it'd be ridiculous to use up a replacement when she might be able to work it out under physio at half-time.
Yeah, you might get 10 minutes of recovery time. The referee's telling you have to actually get off the park because you've been treated. You've been touched by the physio, you actually have to get off the park before you can recommence.
So, this is going to be a bonus right on the stroke of half-time. Steph Catley sizes up the task, and she hits it, and it takes a deflection, it's in! McDonald was there!
I think Rebecca Stott's put that one away.
Rebecca Stott has got the touch, though. And it's a goal right on the stroke of half-time. An unbelievable performance as we watch the replay.
Great ball in by Stephanie Catley. And they're always the danger balls for goalkeepers because you don't know whether you can come or not. And Eliza Campbell, unfortunately, stuck on her line.
Rebecca Stott scoring her first W League goal. No wonder she's beaming. And it came right on half-time. Well, she can't believe it, but it comes to deserving feet as she's been one of the players of the half. Rebecca Stott. It's Melbourne 1, leading Newcastle 0. Oh, it ended poorly for the Jets right on half-time with the injury and then the goal.
Yeah, the coach, Sully's not going to be very happy with that. As I said, the coaches like first 5 in and the last 5 of the half to be where you really switch on. But really, it's a 1-0 half-time score, but it should be with 62% going to Melbourne Victory and 38 to the Newcastle Jets.
Let's head down to Neve Owens.
Thanks, Wilco. I've got Tori Huster with me on the sideline. Tori, a real battle going on out there. Disappointing to let in the goal right on the stroke of halftime.
Yeah, I think so. I think we just need to be a little bit more precise in the final third and a little bit more precise in the back. I think we just need to come out of halftime and with a little bit more energy.
Yourself and Angela Salem over from the Western New York Flash. How are you finding the standard in the W League so far?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, training every day, we try and make it as intense as we can. We train with boys sometimes too to try and lift the level, and I think it showed out here. I think we need to put together a little bit more work together more as a team, and we should be fine.
Thanks, Tori. Best of luck in the second half. So here at Simmons Stadium in Geelong, that goal right on the stroke of half-time gives Melbourne Victory a 1-0 lead over the Newcastle Jets at the end of the first half. So let's have a look at the highlights from round one now while we've got a minute in the break. We had the first ever Sydney derby to start round two. It was Derby Day in Sydney and the new kids on the block nearly claimed early bragging rights.
Who's in the centre? Sarah Walsh! Oh my goodness!
Sky Blues skipper Kaya Simon was back on the park and she attracted plenty of attention, with this altercation with Trudy Camilleri giving Sydney a chance.
Bulger, plays it in the centre. The hand is over.
Simon was involved again a few minutes later, sending this ball across to Emma Kete in the middle.
Oh, little nutmeg. Audacious too from Simon. The cross is good to Kete. Oh, Kete with a shot at goal! And a superb shot at goal! It's 1-0! What a move! And it really came from a flat-footed nothing almost. From a nutmeg. Western Sydney was sitting on their heels and Emma Kete scores her first goal of the season.
Great timing for the New Zealand international's first goal for the Sky Blues. In a big blow for the Wanderers, young Matilda Jenna Kingsley hobbled off the field with a torn ACL, so she faces the mandatory 12 months on the sideline. Despite losing a forward, the Wanderers continued to conjure up some pretty football in the second half.
It's encouraging from Camilleri. Oh, the back heel was delightful, and the goal was missed to the right side. Camilleri.
Sydney looked more comfortable with the ball, creating plenty of opportunities.
Sent it wide, and the cross to the far post, all off the crossbar.
So Kete's strike just before the half-hour mark proved the difference, with Sydney FC winning the Harbour City derby 1-0.
We knew it was going to be a tough game. We prepared well all week, and it's good to play well and get the 3 points.
Emily Van Egmond gave the home side a great opportunity from the corner, but Stacey Day couldn't keep the header down. Canberra was keeping the pressure on Jets keeper Eliza Campbell, but she proved well up to the task early. Great footwork from Alicia Foot gave Michaela Hatzirodos a chance early in the second half, but she couldn't beat Mackenzie Arnold. And then a mix-up in midfield allowed Sam Wood to put Hayley Rasso through in the 74th minute to open the account for the defending champs. Newcastle continued to create opportunities at the other end of the park, with American import Tori Huster working well in midfield to give Hatzirodos another opportunity. And then, with 10 minutes left to play, the floodgates opened, with the United team combining beautifully and Michelle Heyman able to slot this straight into the top corner to make it 2-0. Newcastle was all out of luck a couple of minutes later, with a ricochet off Van Egmond leaving Campbell with no chance, and Hingst a goal against her old club. And 60 seconds later, Caitlin Munoz was on the end of this Heyman ball to make it 4-0 to the defending champs. Deep into time added on, the ball continued to fall the way of United, with Heyman keeping it in play and Ashley Sykes beating the rugby tackle of Campbell to score goal number 5 for Canberra. So after failing to trouble the scorer in round one, Canberra United showed they've still got it, beating the Jets 5-0 in Newcastle.
Yeah, I guess it was a pinball goal, but I don't care. At the end of the day, it's just my first goal in the W League, so that's great. But I don't care against whom I score, whatever. And it was just important that our team scored, and we did some really good goals and 5 different players to step up to score. I think it's a good thing for our team.
Summer's arrived in Perth and the Glory's early season fitness cannot be questioned, with plenty of bodies in the box to try to put this chance away. The home side continued to create opportunities, with this great individual work from captain Colette McCallum denied after Gill was called offside. And when Lady Red Holly Patterson was brought down just outside the box, Anne Mayo pulled out this incredible free to give the visitors the lead. 4 minutes later, it was all even again, with Eliza DeVidio creating space and Kate Gill able to capitalise on a mistake at the back to send the teams into the break at 1 goal apiece. Holly Patterson was causing plenty of trouble for Adelaide, but she couldn't beat Carly Telford at the back. Glory couldn't put this McCallum cross away, with the home side continuing to push for the win in the dying minutes. And when Telford proved that a move out of goals and into midfield could be in order, putting DeVidio straight through the middle to score with 2 minutes left on the clock.